Namaste, my friends. I'm Andrew, and today we've got another 90-minute full body functional Yin Yoga sequence. In previous sequences, we've talked a lot about yoga being the harmonization of the flow of energy or chi throughout the body. And in today's practice, while we're going to work with the full body again, we're actually going to move from one side to the other. So a lot of asymmetrical postures, a couple of symmetrical ones, but in essence we're going to move up and down opposite sides of the body just to help encourage that flow. Typically in a yin pose, we approach it from the point of view of finding our edge. Our edge is the point of first resistance. We then maybe adjust a little bit before we find some stillness, and then we hold for some time. And we'll talk through that in each of the postures that we work through today. So starting with some breathing, just to center ourselves. So coming to a comfortable seated position, straightening the back as much as comfortable. Hands can be crossed in front, or maybe they're on the knees. Just natural breathing. And when you're comfortable, just bringing the eyes to a close. Natural breathing in and out through the nostrils. Always breathing in and out through the nostrils in our yoga. As we sit here, just become aware of the mat that we're sat on, the earth supporting us from beneath. Be supporting us throughout the practice. And then taking our attention up through the body, up towards the sky above us. Moving from the ground to the sky. A couple of breaths here, sky, infinite possibilities. Bring our attention back down to somewhere in the middle in this room. Maybe the full extent of the room before we bring our attention closer in towards the body. Feeling our clothing on our skin perhaps. Feeling the air touching the bare skin on our body. As we inhale, just feeling that air coming in through the nostrils. Back of the neck into the lungs. And as we exhale, feeling the warmer air just coming out through the nostrils. A couple of breaths here, just gently breathing in and out. Bringing the focus of our attention to the breath. Gradually drawing the senses inwards. Gently, maybe just looking towards the ground before we blink our eyes open slowly. A couple of breaths, just bringing the focus back to the room now. Our first posture, we're going to be working with the cervical part of the spine, or the neck. Only a couple of minutes here. So again, maintaining our seated position. Looking forward. And as we exhale, we're just going to allow the head to fall forward. Next inhale, bringing the head back up to center and just allowing the head to fall back as far as we're comfortable, looking up towards the ceiling. Inhaling, bringing the head back to center. Exhaling, allowing the head to move towards the left shoulder. So we're getting a nice stretch in the right side of the neck here, relaxing the muscle, allowing any stress or tension to move to the connective tissue in that area. On the next inhale, coming back to the center and just gradually letting the head fall towards the right shoulder. Don't lift the shoulder, just allow the head to move towards it. We don't actually have to get to the shoulder. Releasing, relaxing the muscle, allowing the stress to move to the connective tissue. And on the next inhale, bringing the head back to the center. Just a couple of breaths here. So we can either maintain this seated posture that we have here, or if you prefer, if you want to change, you might want to come up onto sitting on your heels in Cesar or something similar to that, just wherever you're comfortable. So our next posture, we're going to be working the scabicle in the shoulders. So for that, we're going to start, this is where we're going to start with our asymmetrical postures. We're going to start on the right hand side. So bringing both arms out in front, take the right arm over the left, and as far as you can, just interlace the hands. If you can't quite get there, it's fine to bring the right arm over and just get to where you can. We don't have to force it. Or we could just fold the arms onto the opposite shoulders, just so long as you're getting a nice stretch in this right shoulder area. So wherever you are, relax the muscle in the shoulder, particularly in the right hand side. Feel any stress moving into the connective tissue of that area. Just natural breathing, don't force the breathing in any way. Inhaling and exhaling. If we need to adjust, if we need to come out, we can always come back to having the arms just crossed in front of us. Or if you want to go a bit deeper, then that's also okay. But never really want to be more than 60 or 70% of your full range of motion. We're at our, what we call our edge, so the first point of resistance. And sometimes that moves while we're actually in a posture. Sometimes we want to follow it, sometimes we don't. So just do what works for you today. A couple more breaths here, bringing the attention always inward. And just gently releasing. So Our next posture will be working on the obliques, so we're going to stay on the right hand side. So we can either stay in this position here, or if you're more comfortable, you could just come down to seating. I'm just going to stay in Seisan. And so we're going to work the obliques here with a side bend. So placing the left arm out to the side, raising the right arm over, and we're going to feel it immediately here. We're going to feel a really nice stretch down the right hand side of the body in the obliques. So just finding that first point of resistance. Maybe for you the arm's up here, that's fine. Maybe you need some support under the left arm here. But just try and find that first point of resistance, that edge, and just settle there for a moment. Just pause. Again, release the muscle in that side of the body, in the right hand side of the body. As we do that, we may find that it allows the stress to move into the connective tissues, and perhaps that edge moves, allows us to move a little bit deeper into the posture. But again, once we've readjusted, just find some stillness here, and use that stillness to direct the attention inwards. Sensing perhaps that the stretch is all the way from the hips and the hip flexors right up through the side of the body, right up through the shoulders and out to the arms, even maybe down to the tips of the fingers. Just enjoying that sensation, aware that we're applying a healthy level of stress to particularly the bones up in the shoulder area, but also in the back. Got a nice bend in the back there, just opening up the side of the spine. Maybe as well as the physical response to this posture, there's some emotional response that's coming up. If that's the case, just let it come. Don't need to dwell on it, just let it come up, let it pass. And just gently in your own time, coming back to a seated posture. And maybe here just taking a little bit of time to either just lie on the back or propped up. Just what we call a rebound in between some of the postures. We don't take it in between every posture, but in between some. We take a little rebound, or as one of our teachers, Bernie Clark, says, to listen for the echo of the last posture, which is a nice way of putting it, I think. So just take the attention to the right hand side of the body and see if you can hear or feel that echo up in the scapular shoulder area or down the side of the body on the right hand side. Just a breath here, getting ready for our next posture. So our next posture will be working the hip flexor, so again of the right hand side. So we're going to want to come to all fours on our mat, bring the left leg forward, And this is how we're going to be targeting the hip flexor on the right hand side. So you might want to start here with your hands on the mat like this. Knee close to 90 degrees, doesn't have to be perfectly, we're doing functional yoga, don't forget. Some people like to experiment with bringing the foot in or out, but we'll start at 90 degrees with the hands on the mat. And here we should already be feeling that we've got a bit of a stretch coming in the right hip flexor. So again, let's just move, just find that first edge, that first point of resistance. And once you're there, let's take the mind consciously to the hip flexor in the right hand side and just relax the muscle. As we relax the muscle, it enables the stress to move to the connective tissues where we want it in Yin. And maybe as we do that, we feel to go a little bit deeper into the posture. Maybe the groin sort of sinks a little bit closer to the floor. If that's the case, we can either stay here, but if that's the case and we want a bit more, we can come up and support ourselves on the knee, either with the elbow. If we want a bit more, we can come up like this. As we elevate the torso, we put more and more stretch or healthy stress into that area, the target area. We can even use the head to introduce a bit more. But wherever we are and settle, we just try and find stillness, just for a short while. And as we find stillness, we're able to explore how we're responding to this posture physically. Maybe we can feel that connective tissue stretch or stress now, all the way from that right knee, coming up through the front of the leg, the quad, the hip flexor, up the side of the body, maybe through the obliques, a little bit in the stomach. Maybe if we've got the head back, all the hands behind us, we can feel it a little bit in the back as well. And again, a healthy stress here on a number of our bones, all up the right leg from the toe, right up through the knee, femur, pelvis and lumbar. In your own time, moving gently. Certainly can be, feel a little bit fragile after some of these postures, so just take your time. For our next target area, we're going to move straight into working the glute on the right hand side. So we're going to take our left leg behind us, bringing the right leg out in front. The position of the turn around actually. Position of the foot and the knee is entirely up to you. We can have it in or further out. Again, it's functional yoga, so whatever works for you and your unique body type. Left leg doesn't have to be straight, but straightish behind us. And from here, we're going to just ease forward. Again, finding that first edge. And as we find it, pausing. As we pause, consciously relaxing the muscle in the right glute. So the right butt muscle. And as that muscle relaxes, perhaps we feel the stress moving to the connective tissues, which might open it up and allow us to move a little bit deeper into the posture. As we move a little bit deeper, we might want to adjust our foot or our knee. We might want to bring the torso forward towards the mat, or just stay here. We might even want to just grab the bolster and use that to support us in front of as well. So wherever you feel that you're getting the best stress, healthy stress or stretch in the target area, work with that. And just breathing into the posture here, moving to that stillness, using the stillness in the mind and the body to explore the experience of the posture, feeling perhaps the stretch of the connective tissue, not only in the glute area or the butt area, but maybe down the side of the right leg, maybe coming up the side of the right body. If we're finding we need a little bit more, we can, as we can in a lot of yin poses, we can use the torso and the arms as levers. So perhaps moving to one side increases or decreases the stretch for us. Again, not fidgeting, but if we adjust, we need to adjust. And once we adjust, we settle again into stillness. So just gently in your own time, maybe bringing the body back up, pulling the left leg back in. Maybe after that, just taking a little bit of a breather, a quick rebound. So again, either lying straight back on the back or just supported on your arms like this. And just taking a few breaths, just a few seconds to consider the rebound or listen for the echo of the postures. So we've moved down from the shoulder, the clavicle, down the obliques, hip flexors, and the glutes. So maybe just compare the right and the left sides of the body and see what feels different. See if you can describe it. And on your next breath, just coming back to the seated position. So for our next target area, we're going to be working on the groin. So the muscles coming up the inside of the thigh. And for that, we're going to sit up and we're going to try and get as close to a 90-degree angle as we can there, just wherever you're comfortable, wherever you can start to feel some stress or stretch in that groin muscle area. And from here, we're going to just walk the hands forward a little bit. So again, we're looking for that edge, that first point of resistance. So not wanting to force anything. So as we just shuffle forward a little bit, we're going to find there's a point at which we're not comfortable going beyond at the moment, and maybe that's here. For some people it might be lower. For others it might be right up here. That's fine. So finding that first edge, we pause. We take our attention to the target area of the groin and consciously relax the muscles of the groin. And in fact, sometimes it's quite hard to separate the muscles in this part of the leg, the groin, from the hamstrings and the other muscles there. So just relax all of the muscles in the legs. We don't need them in this posture to support ourselves. So just relax all the muscles in the legs. Make sure the legs are all relaxed. And as we do, we might feel the stress moving to the connective tissue. Maybe that allows us to come forward. Maybe that allows us to just come a little bit deeper into the posture. And as we come a little bit deeper, if we do, we just find stillness. Whether we're here, again, we might have the bolster in front supporters. Or for some of us, we might be closer towards the mat. Wherever we are, we just find that stillness. Use the stillness while we have it. Use it to explore the feedback we're getting from this posture physically. Maybe feeling that connective tissue stretch all the way down to the inside of the knees, up to the groin. Maybe even further for some of us. Maybe we can feel something all the way down the inside of the legs, down to the feet and back up again. Knowing that we're also applying a nice healthy stress on the bones here. Certainly the femur, the pelvis, the lumbar, the base of the spine there, and the hips. As well as a bit of work in the back. In your own time, just walking the hands back perhaps. Maybe you want to give your legs a hand to come back to center. And just taking a brief rebound. Keeping the focus on the right hand side of the body, maybe comparing the two, right and left again. Even though that last posture was both sides symmetrical, you may well find that there's more of an effect on the right hand side of the body if we keep the attention there and we're working through the other postures there. Getting ready for our next target area is the quads. So we're going to work asymmetrically, so we're going to keep on the right hand side of the body. So I'll turn this way. So to work the right quad, we're going to, from a seated position, legs forward, we're going to bring the right leg back. Foot can be straight behind us or out to the side. I'll probably start with it tucked behind for now. Again, we're going to be feeling certainly the quad muscle already engaged here. So we just want to find that point of first resistance. that edge. So maybe that's here for some of us, or maybe it's down here. Wherever it is, just pause there for a moment. As we pause, we consciously relax the muscle in the quad, the right quad. Again, maybe just relax all the leg muscles. Feeling any stress moving to the connective tissues where we want it. And maybe for you, that opens up the opportunity to go a little bit deeper. Maybe you just want to bring in the bolster and be supported here. So wherever you choose to be, just follow that edge. Just getting the balance between following the edge so we can maintain the stress that we want, but without going too far. If we need a little bit more stress or stretch here, we can try bending the opposite leg, the left leg, and bringing that up, or even dropping that out to the side. So maybe just try these adjustments and find what's working for you. We can, of course, always bring the arms up over the head, holding onto the opposite elbows, or even just straight out. So again, just finding the combination that works for you today, with the focus very much on the right quad. Wherever we settle, just finding some stillness. Use the stillness. Introspect a bit. Feel the connective tissue stretch, maybe from the knee all the way up through the top of the leg, the front of the leg. Maybe it's coming up further through the hip flexor, up through this right side of the body. Maybe if we've got our arms over our head, it's coming right up the side of the arms too. But just try reading your body to understand what the response is. Healthy stress here on bones, toes, ankles, knees, femur, pelvis, all the bones of the leg, all the way up, even the hips. Okay, when you're ready, just gently releasing that right leg, maybe just rolling over to the other side, just letting the right leg out. And maybe taking the opportunity for another quick rebound, focusing on the right side, right-left comparison again maybe, but just bringing the attention to the right side of the body. As we breathe in and out, just trying to become aware of how the sensations in the body change before and after the postures. Getting ready for our next posture. We're going to be working the hamstrings. So again, obviously sticking with the right leg. We can do this in a couple of ways. So we can, depending on whether you prefer to internally or externally rotate, we can bring the left leg over the right, come forward like this, or if you prefer, we can take the left leg back, come forward over the right leg like this. So again, entirely your choice. Maybe explore one way this way and a different way when we come back up the other side. But whichever you've chosen, start to settle into your position, come forward, searching for that edge again, that first point of resistance. When we find it, we pause. A couple of breaths while we pause. Release the muscles in the hamstring area. So again, let's just release all of the leg muscles, hamstrings, glutes. We don't need them at the moment. As they release, we feel that connective tissue take up the stretch or the stress. Maybe this allows us to come a little bit deeper into the posture, coming forward onto the elbows. We can even rest if we want to rest our head. Some people like to rest the head on a block. Or we can just bring the head forward towards the mat or the knee. Wherever you choose to settle, finding that first edge, pausing here, releasing the muscles in the back of the leg. In fact, releasing all of the muscles so the leg's nice and relaxed. Making sure that it's the connective tissue that takes up the stress rather than the muscles. We just find some brief stillness here. Next inhale, just walking the hands back, coming out of the posture gradually. Bringing the left leg back, coming to a seated position. Lying back or supported. Taking the attention to the target area, so the hamstring, the right hand side of the body. Just seeing what sensations arise. Maybe they start in the hamstring and maybe they move to other areas like the instep of the foot or further up the leg or up the back. And again, maybe just comparing that whole right side of the body to the left hand side of the body. Just a couple of breaths. So, coming close to finishing on the right hand side of the body, we're now going to target area is the ankles. So we're going to sit back on the ankles, open up the ankles. And again, you can moderate this depending on your range of motion in the ankles. So if we want less stress on the ankles, we can walk forward, and maybe that's where we start, walking the arms forward, finding that first edge, pausing, just relaxing all the muscles in that area. So the muscles in the calves that help us move the foot through the ankle joint. Maybe as we do that, the connective tissue picks up the stress and gives us the opportunity to move a little bit deeper. Maybe we can come back. Maybe we're straight up to start with. And for those that might want a little bit more, we can even start coming back a little bit onto the elbows. We can even take the knees off the mat. And we'll be getting some really good stretch there in the connective tissue. We've relaxed the muscles, we're into the fascia and the connective tissue. We're certainly working the toes, ankles and the knees here. Might want to try like this for a short time and then come back down. Just ease out of it a bit. So we're only here for about another minute. But wherever you are in this posture, and just find some stillness. And use the stillness to really try to understand what's happening in this posture for you, rather than allowing the mind to just wander off and think about all the other daily activities. Try and bring it back to where we are now and what's actually going on in your body. And just gently releasing, maybe coming back up to seated position. And coming back. For this one, we're going to take a slightly more extended rebound. Lying on our back. So a slightly extended rebound here, just as we're at the halfway point. We've worked down the right hand side of the body. And so after this, we're going to work our way back up the left hand side of the body. And while we've stopped on the way down through the right hand side with some rebounds to consider the effect of individual postures, perhaps now we can take some time to just consider the whole right hand side of the body and compare how that feels to the opposite side, the left hand side of the body. I'm just trying to be aware of the different sensations in either side. Try and describe them. Maybe the right hand side feels more open or warmer or even cooler. Maybe it just feels more relaxed. Maybe also just in comparing the two sides, try and remember what the left hand side feels like right now, so that when we come to the end of the practice, you've got a good baseline to compare not just the sides but the overall body. Maybe as we've opened up the right hand side of the body, there's the opportunity for some kind of energetic movement from the toe, leg, all up the right hand side of the body. And maybe as we next inhale, just rolling over onto our side, gently pushing up, ready for our next posture. So as I said, we've worked on the right hand side, now we're going to work on the left hand side. Obviously done the ankles, so now we're going to move back onto the hamstrings. So again, as we said before, with the hamstrings, two ways to do it. We can bring the right leg over, fold forward, or if we prefer, we can take the right leg back and come down over the left. So again, your choice. Always remembering the sides will feel quite different. Just coming forward in whatever posture you've chosen, finding that first edge. Pausing here, releasing the muscles in the back of the left leg. In fact, releasing all of the muscles in the left leg so the leg's nice and relaxed. Making sure that it's the connective tissue that takes up the stress rather than the muscles. Maybe following that edge in a little bit deeper if we get the opportunity. If we don't, it doesn't matter, but if it's there, we might as well maintain the healthy stress level. And again, we can support ourselves here, we can come down closer towards the knee. We can move the torso to increase or decrease. We just find some brief stillness here. Stillness in the mind as much as the body. And that stillness in the mind in particular allowing us to explore our response physically, emotionally, maybe even energetically. Next inhale, just walking the hands back, coming out of the posture gradually. Just releasing that right leg. Again, a shorter rebound this time. Using this first rebound on the left side to just make sure that we're maintaining the focus on the left-hand side. So bring the attention to the hamstring. Initially, maybe the sensations spread a bit further, maybe they extend from the bottom of the foot right up the leg, glute, up the back. And again, starting that comparison between the left and the right hand side in the hamstrings. What's different between the two? How can you describe the sensations in both? Our next inhale, coming back to seated position, ready for working with the quads. So the next target area is the quad of the left leg. So this way around, as we did on the other side, we'll bring the left foot back, finding our first edge. Maybe that's here, maybe that's a little further back, wherever it is. We just want to settle in, try and find that first edge, and when we're there, just pause. And when we pause, we know what we do. We consciously relax the muscle, so in this case the left quad. Relax that muscle and allow the stress that was in that muscle to transfer to the connective tissue, the tendons and ligaments, joint capsules in that area. And as that happens, sometimes the edge moves, which allows us to go a little deeper into the posture. So we might want to come all the way back. We might want to just bring in the bolster and use that wherever you're comfortable. If we're back here and we're wanting a little bit more, we want to go a little bit deeper, remember we've got the option of that opposite leg, so we can bring that right leg up now here. We can drop it out to the side, and we can use our arms and torso as levers. Not only can we bring our arms above our head, but we can even alter the position of our upper body to affect the stress or stretch that we're feeling down in the target area. Once you've found a position in this pose that is effective for you, just move to stillness. Position may not be the same as the other side. Still the mind. And consider how we're responding to the posture. Connective tissue stress maybe all the way from the knee, up the front of the leg, side of the body, up through the armpit, into the arms, may even extend right out into the fingertips. Gently applying some healthy stress here to the toes, ankles, knee, femur, pelvis, and the lumbar, and a little bit of compression in the base of the spine there. Enjoying the sensations of the posture. Maybe opening to the possibility that there's more than a physical response, particularly where we have postures that involve some form of chest opening. Quite often people find there's an emotional response that comes up. And if there is, just let that come to the surface. Don't try and solve it. In your own time, just rolling to one side, releasing that left leg. Again, taking a little bit of time to just consider the after effects or the echo of that posture. So we're working the left quad, take our attention there. How does it feel different before and after the posture? How does it compare to the right hand side now? Just a couple of breaths here more. So moving up again, so we've moved up the hamstrings, quads, and now we're back to the groin. So again, as we did before, just opening the legs as far as we're comfortable until we can feel some tension here in the muscle in the groin area. And from here, I'm just going to walk the arms forward. Looking for that first edge again. Finding that first edge and pausing. In the pause, we relax the muscles. In fact, as I said before, relax the muscles in all of the legs. We don't need them for support, so just easier to relax them all. Maybe the feet even go a bit floppy as a test. Stress moves from the muscle to the connective tissue. Maybe that allows us to go a little bit deeper. Bring the chest towards the mat or the head. Again, some people like to support the head here. Whatever height suits you. Wherever you are in this posture, always remember that if you want to adjust the level of intensity, we can do that by tilting the pelvis. So if we're wanting some more intensity, we tilt the pelvis. The simplest way of doing that is by straightening the back, looking forward. If we do that, we're going to get much more in the groin here. If we're finding that we've got a little bit too much and we want to ease off, then we can simply almost just round the back, which is tilting the pelvis back. And that will take some of the intensity out. So again, with all of these postures, just explore, experiment a little without fidgeting, but just explore so that you can find the range of possibilities and what works best for you. You may find that you get much healthier intensity in that sort of 60 to 70% range by being slightly off the mat and tilting the pelvis, rather than trying to let the body come right down. That may not be sustainable. So just do what's best for you. We've got about another minute here. So you can feel that connective tissue stretch all the way down the insides of the legs, maybe right down to the ankle, the instep, or maybe just down to the knees. Just try adjusting that pelvis and seeing what the effect is. Then next time we do this posture, we'll know what works for us. So just walking back, maybe just helping the legs together. And again, taking a brief rebound. Taking the attention in this rebound to the groin, which is obviously a symmetrical posture rather than the asymmetricals. Again, making the comparison before and after the posture. Can you discern any differences? What are they? And how would you describe the sensations? On the next inhale, coming back up. So our next target area is the glute, so the left butt muscle. So we'll take the right leg back, again as we did with the other side. With the left leg, the position of the knee, in or out, is a personal thing, so just whatever suits you today. The position of the foot can be forward or back in. You may just want to adjust. Find that first edge, so just settle in to what's comfortable. Mindful that our target area is here. So starting on the hands here, we want to bring the body forward. Maybe start resting on the elbows, or you can bring in the bolster here to support you in front. Looking for that first edge, finding the edge, pausing, relaxing. So relaxing that whole sort of glute, the sort of butt muscle area. And as we do that, taking any opportunity to sink deeper into the posture if the edge moves. Adjusting, either coming to the mat, or maybe we're adjusting the torso and the arms to get some extra sensation or intensity here. Finding stillness. Beginning to use that stillness as we've been practicing all through this sequence. Using that stillness to open our mind to what's actually going on in this posture. Feel the connective tissue stretch in the target area. Maybe it comes down the outside of the right leg down to the knee. Maybe you get a sensation further down the leg. Maybe that sensation extends up from the glute, up the back. Even the position of things like our head and our neck go into effect what sensation we feel physically. Maybe there's more than a purely physical response. Generally, forward folding postures, if anything, make us a little bit more introspective rather than the chest openers. But maybe there's something that arises here for you. And if there is, as always, just allow it to rise to the surface and pass on by. And the next inhale, just walking the hands back, bringing that right leg forward. And a quick rebound. Generally, we're not taking very long rebounds between postures here because we had quite an extended rebound halfway through the sequence. But it's good to just take the time to pause and direct our attention to the area that we've been working with most immediately. And just understanding what that sort of echo of the posture or the sensation, the afterglow of the posture feels like. As well as perhaps making the comparisons with the other side of the body. And next breath, going back up to seated position. So this time we're working with the hip flexor, the left hip flexor. So we're coming onto all fours. Bring the right leg forward. Extend the left leg back. And again, I tend to start with the leg at 90 degrees here. It doesn't have to be. Some people prefer to bring the leg out. It just changes the stretch. Some people prefer to have it in. I tend to start at 90 degrees and see where that takes us. So we might start here on our hands, supporting ourselves here. Already we're going to start feeling a good stretch through this left hip flexor. So starting here, we just find that first edge. Pause, consciously relax the muscle. Take any opportunity that transfer of stress from muscle to connective tissue, that moves our edge for us. Maybe it doesn't. If it doesn't, we just stay here. But if it does move that edge forward, then maybe we follow that edge with a bit more intensity by bringing the torso up, supporting ourselves on our knee, elbow, or the hand. We can even put the hands behind us, really open up the chest, take the head back. And again, there you're going to be really stretching through that side of the body. And some people prefer to take their hands up over the head. But wherever you settle, here or here, just find that stillness. Stillness in the body, Stillness in the mind. Understanding the experience of the posture. Feeling the connective tissue stretch in a physical sense all the way, not only perhaps from the hip flexor up from the hip flexor up through the side of the body, through the stomach, particularly if we're using the torso. You may even find that it extends further down from the hip flexor to the quad. Maybe there's some sensation down towards the feet. But everyone's different, so just try and understand or read what your experience is. In here we've got some good healthy tension, stress in the bones, toes, ankles, knees, femur and pelvis. Just gently bring the hands to the mat. Again, being quite cautious coming out of this one. It can be a little bit fragile. Touch the legs. So we come up through, we're out with hip flexor. Next target area is going to be the obliques. So as we did before, I did this sitting on my heels, but you can do it just sat with crossed legs, wherever's comfortable. And from here we're just going to take the right hand out, supporters. We're going to start looking for that edge. Just bringing the left arm up, just opening up this whole side of the body. So once we find the edge, we just pause. Just take a couple of breaths here. Relax the muscles in the side of the body. Maybe there's a little bit of give there as the stress moves to the connective tissue. Maybe that means we can just open up a little bit more. And then we find stillness. In that stillness, we might just focus on the physical dimensions of the posture. Feeling the stretch in the side of the body, all the way from the hips right up through the side muscles, through the side of the chest, up through the shoulder, maybe all the way down the inside of the left arm. Or again, maybe perhaps because we're opening up, maybe there's some more emotional response that we have in this posture. Whatever it is, just take it for what it is and embrace it. Just a couple more breaths here. And just releasing that left arm. So we can either stay seated as we are here for our next posture, which is going to be the scavical, so the eagle arms again. But to the other side, we can either stay here or we can come back into a seated, legs straight out, or cross legs, whatever's most comfortable for you. So wherever you're comfortable, just extend the arms forward. And this time we're going to working on the left scavical and shoulder. So we're going to bring that arm on top, just cross them over. So again, we can stay here. This is as far as we're comfortable today. Or we can bring the hands together as close as we can here. So whichever option is available or comfortable for you today, just stay with that. And finding that edge, pausing, consciously releasing those shoulder muscles, all the muscles across the top of the shoulder, even down the shoulder blades, just release all of those. And feel the shoulders opening up at the back, opening up and stretching the connective tissue. And just pausing here, finding some stillness. Just enjoying the stillness, the physical and mental silence it brings. And just gently releasing. Getting ready for our final posture now, so we're just going to be finally coming back up to the neck. We started with the cervical spine, so we're going to end our physical postures with the cervical spine before we move to a Shavasana. So again, maintaining this position, or if you're more comfortable, maybe need a change, maybe coming into just crossed legs. Just allowing the head to fold forward. Just breathing. Again, taking any stress or releasing this stress that you can in the muscles of the neck. Allowing the weight of the head to stretch the connective tissue. Inhaling, coming back to center. Getting ready to release the head back. Exhaling. So again, release the muscles. Bring the head back to center. Allow the head to fall towards the left shoulder. Don't bring the left shoulder up to meet it. Just allow the weight of the head to gently stretch the right hand side of the neck. Inhaling back to center, and allow the head to just fall gently to the right hand side, stretching the left hand side of the neck. Just a couple more breaths here. Inhaling, bring the head back to center. So, time for our Shavasana. So make yourself comfortable lying on your back preferably. Arms and legs stretched out. Feet and hands relaxed. No need to have hands or feet pointing in a particular direction. Just have them relaxed and away from the body. So feet slightly apart, hands away from the body. Bringing your eyes to a close when you're comfortable. And starting by just following the breath, just bringing the attention to the breath. Noting the breath moving in and out through the nostrils. And bringing the attention inwards. And just reviewing where we've been in this almost circular flow through the body. We started with the breathing to bring our focus together. And then move to the neck, the cervical spine, so the top of the spine. From there we move down the right hand side of the body. Worked with the obliques. Down through the glute, the hamstrings, hip flexors, right down to the ankles. So just take the attention to that right hand side of the body and move gently down from the neck, down through the right shoulder, side of the body, glute, top of the leg, bottom of the leg and the ankle, right down to the toes. Just slowly as you breathe. And on the next inhale, pause that sensation, just moving down as we did through our postures. We came down the right hand side of the body. So exhale, come down the right hand side of the body again. Crossing over to the left hand side. Coming up, feet, ankles, up through the legs, the quads, the hamstrings, the hip flexors, the side of the body, shoulder, back up to the cervical at the top of the spine. We pause at the neck, at the cervical spine. And this time as we exhale, we go down the right hand side of the body, down the side of the body, down through the right leg, down to the right toes. And we cross over to the left toe. As we inhale, You come up that side of the body. So inhale up the left-hand side. Exhale down the right-hand side. Inhale up the left-hand side. And just pause there. Just a couple of breaths. Just enjoying the sensations in the whole of the body. Just a couple of breaths, a few moments of stillness and silence. And when you're ready, just wiggling the toes and the fingers. Next inhale, rolling to the side. And you're coming up to a seated position in your own time. Namaste. I hope you've enjoyed the practice as much as I have. And see you next time.